Hi, welcome back to Jefferson Patterson Park and Museum. We're partnering with the Great Maryland Recipe Hunt to bring you another historical cooking video. My name is Liz, and I have my coworker here helping me out this month because we're going a little outside my wheelhouse. So I brought Nate in to teach us a little bit about wild game.
Yeah, so I've been hunting for a couple years now. I'm the world's worst hunter, as all my coworkers would well know. The one thing, though, that I am pretty successful at is getting squirrel. So today we're going to actually be making some squirrel pot pie. We're going to be using some leftover squirrel soup that I cooked down a little bit and added some flour to, and turning it into a pot pie. The key thing to remember about pot pies and pies in general is they're basically the ye olde version of casserole. You got your leftovers sitting around, you don't know what to do with it, throw it in a pie, call it something new. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing today. All right, so right now, fortunately for me, since I'm not much of a cook, Liz is helping me out, and she's going to be rolling out our pastry dough. While she's doing that, I would just want to start talk a little bit about meat during the colonial period, because it's something that I find to be really fascinating. One of the first and biggest differences between raising animals in the colonial period versus nowadays is nowadays we have fences to keep our critters in. Back then you would actually use fencing to keep your animals out. So you'd be allowing your pigs and your cows to actually roam free through the woods and fend for themselves. And then at the end of the season, when you were ready to collect them, you'd actually look at the animals and see markings on their ears. And that's how you'd be able to tell different animals that's how you'd be able to tell who owned what animal. And one of the big end results of this means that a lot of farm-raised, what we would think of as farm-raised animals, would be pretty tough. They're going to be just like those wild animals in terms of what they eat, in terms of how they're using their muscles, and so that's going to actually result in some meat that's pretty tough. So when we talk about game meat, we think of it as this thing that's really tough and very different from our domesticated animals that we consume generally. But for the colonists, it's probably not going to be all that different. And one of the best examples of this, in my opinion, is chicken. The idea of raising chicken for meat really didn't become a commercially viable thing until about the 30s. You had some folks who were raising a couple chickens here and there when they had extras. But most chicken recipes that you see from this time period are actually going to be for old chickens that are past their prime in laying eggs. Another thing that I sort of want to touch base on is we nowadays think of squirrel meat as something, a little bit less than ideal, but squirrel meat actually would have been a fairly coveted meat. In fact, there's two different presidents whose favorite meals were squirrel stew. It's Harrison and I believe Garfield were the two presidents who loved squirrel stew. Another fun fact, though, both those presidents actually died early in their presidency, so chicken soup for the soul, but squirrel soup doesn't seem to do much for your health, apparently. And right now we've got Liz doing some beautiful edge work right there. I'm not going to comment too badly on it, because if I do, she'll make me do it, and then you'll be able to tell which side's which real quick. And we're going to actually go and put this into our oven. Now, for a lot of folks, they're not going to have an oven like we think of. They're going to have an oven that's made out of clay, called a cob oven, and that's what we're going to see shortly. Good.
All right, so Nate is putting our pie into the oven now. He is the master of our cob oven. Cob ovens are what you typically would be seeing at this time period. Cob is a mixture, or an earthen oven. It's just a mixture of mud, straw, and sand, and it builds really nice strong walls, and it's great at insulating this heat. So we've had our fire burning in there for quite a while. With cob ovens, you get the temperature up really high at the start of the day, and then you would spend the whole day doing your baking. So you would start off baking everything that needed to be done at a high temperature, and then through the day you would work down to stuff to be done at a cooler temperature. So that's not going to take too long. Our filling's already cooked, so we just need to get the pie crust cooked through. And that oven is piping hot, so it's going to go real fast. It probably won't take more than 15 minutes to get this pie finished off. heart wiggle.
Thank you.
Yeah, that looks pretty darn good.
Yeah, I'm ready for dinner.
Same. All right. Thank you so much, Nate, for helping out, especially for providing the squirrels, because that is not something I'm prepared to do.
Oh man, are you kidding me? I just got dinner already cooked. I'm a champion when I go home.
That is true. And thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to submit your recipes to the Great Maryland Recipe Hunt. As always, the link is below. And I'll see you guys next month. The animals and see markings on their ears, and that's how you'd be able to tell different